On this edition, I'm going to do my UFC 149 main card predictions. I've already come to the conclusion. I'm not going to do the prelims here. However, I do think the prelim fights on this card are rather exciting, but just to try and squeeze in 149 prediction video, I'll stick to the main card. So the first fight of the night is Chris Clements versus Matt Riddle. Now in this fight, you really have a striker versus a wrestler. Obviously, the striker being Chris Clements. The guy's in his 11 wins, the guy's won 10 of his fights via knockout. He has some serious stand-up, very dynamic, and working some leg kicks and has some heavy hands, especially for the division. But he's definitely not the better grappler in this fight. That is the biggest factor, especially against a wrestler like Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle struggles to finish fights. I believe his nickname is Deepwater. Obviously, that can tell you exactly the type of fighting style he's going to be, is lay and pray. Not so much, really, it doesn't even really rain down too much ground and pound, but he is most definitely the better grappler in this fight. And it's tough against a striker, against a wrestler. It's always smart to go with the wrestler, especially when you're predicting fights. However, I just don't see it that way. I think Chris Clements' power cannot be denied, and Matt Riddle's not an easy guy to finish. He has been finished before, but Chris Clements has the power to most definitely test Riddle's chin in this fight. However, if Riddle's to win this fight, it's definitely by decision. I don't see him finishing Chris Clements in this fight. So Riddle will look for the takedown in this fight, but Chris Clements gets 3 times to stand up. And I think with his power, the guy's going to throw volume. He has to throw volume. He has to be very active in the feet. He has to be very aware of the takedown. And when I see it coming down, I really see Chris Clements catching Riddle, and I see him defeating Riddle via TKO. I don't see him knocking out Riddle. Riddle is a tough guy, but I see Clements winning this fight via TKO in this fight. So I will go with the striker, go against all my beliefs in going with wrestlers, seeing wrestlers dictate where the fight takes place. Next fight is Brian Ebersol versus James Head. Now, this fight is going to be very exciting. Both guys are very tough. You have an unorthodox fighter in stand-up department like Brian Ebersol, and very underrated ground. Division I wrestler, very skilled submission guy, also incredible submission defense. We saw what he did against Wahlberger. Fending off the submissions, very calm. Over 66 mixed martial arts fights. You can't teach that experience. I never bet against Brian Ebersol. The guy is tough. He's very hard to finish, good submission defense, and what the guy really does have, good power in his hands, but incredible ground and pound and good ground control. He can get the fight down to the ground. If he is to ground and pound, he is deadly. The guy's absolutely deadly. I could have sworn I thought the guy was going to finish Wahlberger, but good ground and pound. That'll be a big factor in this fight if Ebersol gets this fight down to the ground. Then you have James Head. James Head is definitely the better stand-up fighter in this fight. Muay Thai, boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He does have a good ground game. He definitely can submit fighters. I don't see him submitting Brian Ebersol in this fight. But if this one is to stay standing, we saw James Head did to Papi Abedi. That was no joke. James Head does have very good power in his hands, very quick hands as well. So if this fight is to stay standing, James Head could very well test Brian Ebersol's most definitely battle-tested chin. But I see this one coming down to, I think Brian Ebersol can control the fight where the fight takes place. I don't see a finish happening in this fight, though. I see Ebersol, if he is to get in trouble, he's going to take this one down to the ground. He's going to work his ground and pound. But I don't see him finishing James Head. James Head's a very tough guy, definitely a good chin. So what I see it coming down to is that, like I said, never bet against Brian Ebersol. I'll take Brian Ebersol winning this fight via unanimous decision. It could also be a very close fight, but I'll take unanimous decision Brian Ebersol in a very exciting fight. We'll see ground, we'll see stand-up, we'll see a little bit of everything. Next fight of the night is a heavyweight matchup between Chet Congo and Sean Jordan. Now, Chet Congo is obviously coming off of a loss. UFC 144 to Mark Hunt got knocked out, or TKO'd, however you want to put it. Not the best performance. Chet Congo, I don't want to say he's been erratic lately, but this is almost a must-win for Chet Congo. Obviously, people say he's the glorified gatekeeper of the heavyweight division. I think he fills that role very well. Definitely a good fighter. Just has to put some wins together. What Chet Congo brings to the table, kickboxing background, very underrated wrestling as well. He is susceptible to submissions, but he's got good grappling. What he really does implement the best is his ground and pound as well. If Chet Congo is to get on top of you, I feel sorry for whoever's on the bottom. He does have good ground and pound. He has good power with his striking from the top and guard. So, and then you have Sean Jordan. Sean Jordan's a slugger and underrated submission as well. He got 9 knockouts, 3 submissions. Guy knows how to finish fights. Sean Jordan will either swing for the fences or try and submit you on the ground. And, good power. Sean Jordan used to be a football player, definitely an athlete. I see his cardio definitely being a question mark in this fight, is that he has struggled with the cardio in the past. But what I see this fight coming down to, I think it ultimately comes down to, if Chet Congo fights this fight smart, he will get this fight down to the ground. He is the better grappler in this fight, and I see him getting Sean Jordan down to the ground, implementing his ground and pound, and most definitely chesting Sean Jordan's chin. And if Sean Jordan is to win this fight, standing up, it's going to knock out Cheick Kongo. That's how it's going to happen. But I see Cheick Kongo's ground game and his grappling being better, getting on top of Sean Jordan, and winning this fight via TKO or knockout. That's just how I see it. He's going to get on top. He's going to beat up Sean Jordan. He's going to have to work for his takedowns, but he is the better grappler, so I'll take Cheick Kongo. The next fight is Hector Lombard versus Tim Boetsch. Now, I've done videos on both this fight and Barao versus Faber, but I'm trying to sum these two up in a nutshell, is that Hector Lombard and Tim Boetsch, if I were to put a fight up for fight of the night, it'd most definitely be this one. So with Hector Lombard, very balanced. Olympic-level judo, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai, and the guy's an absolute killer. Both guys are killers. But Lombard's definitely the quicker fighter in this fight. He's the littler guy in this fight, but he's got a very short, stocky frame. He's boatloads of strength. The guy's a freak athletically, really, and in the stand-up department, he's a killer. He commits forward, good footwork, incredible hand speed, and the guy's practically impossible to finish. He's never been finished before. He's lost. His only 2 losses have come by decision. Incredible chin, very tough to submit, not easy to get down on the ground with his level of grappling, and just very balanced in this fight. Then you have Tim Boetsch, a Jeet Kune Do practitioner, wrestling background, very big guy, definitely not the faster fighter in this fight, definitely the bigger guy though. I think the biggest question in this fight, if Tim Boetsch is not to keep this one, say, how's his wrestling matchup against Hector Lombard's judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? However, in the stand-up department, Boetsch has got really good power as well. Like I said, not the faster guy. What I think Boetsch does very well is his knees. He utilizes his knees very well. The question, if he can land them on a faster fighter like Lombard. But Boetsch has very good stand-up. He can throw kicks, uses the kicks very effectively, good hands, and definitely a versatile striker. He's not the more dynamic guy in this fight, though. Just don't see that happening, being the more dynamic guy. But what I think this one comes down to is that Tim Boetsch has been finished before. His chin, I don't want to say it's questionable, but he has been finished before. We've seen it happen before. I think it comes down to that I think Lombard is going to come out. This one's going to stay standing. This guy's going to swing for the fences. When it comes down to chin, is always the ultimate factor in a slugfest. Lombard has the better chin. He's the quicker guy, a little bit more power, to be quite honest. And I see Hector Lombard either knocking out Tim Boetsch. It would be a reach, but either that or I see him wobbling Tim Boetsch with his strikes, his speed, picking him apart, wobbling him and finishing him via TKO on the deck. Or standing up, however this was to happen. I'm going to take Hector Lombard. And hopefully, maybe we'll see Hector Lombard get a title shot against Anderson Silva, see him fight Weidman, we'll see him fight Belfort. Who knows what will happen, but Hector Lombard with the win here will definitely be considered one of the top contenders given his win streak. And the main event of the night is Uriah Faber versus Renan Barao. Uriah Faber is obviously supposed to face Dominic Cruz. Dominic Cruz got hurt. Now we have an interim title fight. This is for the interim title. So Uriah Faber, I don't want to say underrated stand-up. He has good stand-up. He has good speed in this fight. He likes to mix it up a little bit. And I think the best part of Uriah Faber, though, his wrestling and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu combination, I think he's the most effective in this fight will definitely be to try and get Renan Barao down to the ground and utilize his wrestling, his ground and pound, and try and lock in a submission. It'll be a tall task against a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like Renan Barao. Not to mention a good takedown defense. But Uriah Faber's wrestling, ground and pound, and the combination of the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, we've seen him submit black belts before. It's definitely possible. Don't see it happening in this fight, though. If Uriah Faber's to win, it'll definitely be by outpointing Renan Barao and utilizing his wrestling. I don't see him winning this fight in the stamp. I think it will be very similar to Aldo versus Faber. Then you have Renan Barao. Obviously trains with Jose Aldo. Obviously Jose Aldo, I think, will lay out the blueprint to how to be successful in this fight if he's to implement it properly. Renan Barao stand-up, more dynamic striker, very, very explosive, quick hand speed, lots of leg kicks, utilizes knees very effectively. A lot of flying knees from this guy. Smart stand-up fighter, lots of explosiveness, and very good power for the division as well. Then the takedown defense. He is not easy to get down to the ground. We saw Jorgensen, a very good wrestler, struggle to do so. And obviously Renan Barao was able to outpoint him and beat him in practically every aspect of that fight. So the question is, can Faber get Renan Barao down the ground and keep him there? And if it's to get down there, Renan Barao has won more of his fights by submission. Very skilled Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boatloads of submissions on his back and off of his back and in the dominant position. So what this one comes down to, if Faber's successful, like I said, win this one by decision, utilizing his wrestling if he's to get Renan Barao down there. But what I see it coming down to, people are saying, oh, well, how can Renan Barao finish this fight? Jose Aldo couldn't finish Uriah Faber. Well, I think Renan Barao is going to make a statement in this fight. He's failed to finish his past couple fights. Well, not his past couple fights. His last fight, he's obviously able to finish Pickett, but I see him coming out trying to winning this belt in decisive fashion. I see him connecting with the strikes. He's going to get put down. I see him getting right back up. I see him connecting with the power strikes, picking apart Faber with his knees, his leg kicks. But I see these strikes adding up, and I see him going for the kill. He's not going to sit around and wait for Faber to wrestle him. I see Barao, if he's presented with the opportunity, he's wobble Faber. He's either going to win this fight via TKO or knockout. So obviously, Renan Barao will be the new interim champion. So my picks will be Renan Barao via TKO or knockout, Hector Lombard via TKO or knockout, Cheick Kongo via TKO or knockout, Brian Ebersol via decision, and Chris Clements via TKO. Obviously, a lot of finishes. Hoping these will pan out, but I hope you all enjoy the fights wherever you're watching on Saturday. And that's why for this edition, it's Kyle Delaney signing off. I'm out of here.